Your ex calls you at 2 a.m. after months of silence. Your rational mind screams, "Don't answer." But your finger hovers over that green button, and against every logical thought in your head, you pick up. Within hours, you're back in their web, knowing full well they'll hurt you again. This isn't love. This isn't weakness. This is your brain on trauma bonds, one of the most dangerous psychological traps humans can fall into. What I'm about to reveal will fundamentally change how you understand toxic relationships. Trauma bonds create an addiction stronger than cocaine, hijacking your brain's reward system and keeping you trapped in cycles of abuse. Today, you'll discover the 3 neurochemical weapons toxic people use against you, the exact signs your brain is being rewired for dependency, and most importantly, the science-backed method to break free from this psychological prison. Because once you understand the mechanics of trauma bonding, you'll never be the same victim again. Let's start with a disturbing truth. Trauma bonds are not accidents. They're biological warfare. When someone alternates between intense affection and cruel rejection, your brain releases a cocktail of dopamine and stress hormones that creates an addiction pattern identical to gambling or drug use. Think about it. A slot machine doesn't pay out every time. It gives you random rewards that keep you pulling the lever. Your toxic partner operates the exact same way. One day, they're showering you with love. The next, they're giving you the silent treatment. This inconsistency doesn't drive you away. It hooks you deeper. Your brain starts craving those rare moments of validation like a drug because the unpredictability makes each positive interaction feel like winning the lottery. Here's where it gets truly sinister. Toxic people intuitively understand something called intermittent reinforcement. They just don't know the scientific term for it. Watch how they operate. They love bomb you in the beginning with overwhelming attention and affection. This floods your system with dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, the same chemicals released during the honeymoon phase of healthy relationships. But then comes the withdrawal. Suddenly, they become distant, critical, or disappear entirely. Your brain, now accustomed to those chemical highs, goes into withdrawal mode. You start obsessing, analyzing their every word, desperately trying to get back to that initial high. When they finally return with even a crumb of affection, the relief is so intense that it creates a deeper addiction than the original love bombing ever could. Your body betrays you in ways you never expected. Trauma bonds literally rewire your nervous system. When you're with your toxic person, your body exists in a state of hypervigilance, constantly scanning for threats, trying to predict their mood, walking on eggshells. This chronic stress floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline. But here's the twisted part. When they show you kindness after a period of cruelty, the relief is so profound that your brain misinterprets it as safety and love. You start associating the very person causing your trauma with your rescue from that trauma. It's like being grateful to your kidnapper for loosening your chains. Your nervous system becomes addicted to this cycle of tension and release, mistaking it for passionate love when it's actually psychological captivity. The most dangerous aspect of trauma bonding is how it makes you complicit in your own psychological imprisonment. You start making excuses for their behavior. They had a difficult childhood. They're just stressed at work. They don't mean to hurt me. But this isn't compassion. It's your traumatized brain trying to make sense of the contradiction between love and abuse. Cognitive dissonance kicks in. Your mind can't reconcile loving someone who hurts you, so it rewrites the narrative. The abuse becomes passion. The manipulation becomes, "they need me." The control becomes, "they care so much about me." You become the architect of your own prison, building walls of justification that keep you trapped long after your captor has given you the keys to leave. Breaking free requires you to hack your own biology. First, understand that your cravings for this person are identical to withdrawal from any addiction. They're temporary chemical imbalances, not evidence of true love. Start documenting every interaction in a journal, noting how you felt before, during, and after. This creates objective evidence that your emotional brain can't rationalize away. Second, implement the gray rock method. Become as boring and unresponsive as possible. Trauma bonders feed on emotional reactions, both positive and negative. When you stop providing that fuel, the dynamic begins to shift. Finally, rebuild your dopamine baseline through healthy activities, exercise, creative pursuits, meaningful relationships. You're not just leaving a person, you're rewiring neural pathways that took months or years to form. Here's what nobody tells you about recovery. Your brain will try to convince you that what you had was special, that the intensity meant it was real love. This is the addiction talking, not your heart. Real love doesn't require you to lose yourself. It doesn't make you anxious, hypervigilant, or constantly seeking validation. True intimacy feels safe, consistent, and nurturing. It doesn't come with a side of trauma that needs to be healed. When you finally break free from a trauma bond, you'll discover something revolutionary. Peace isn't boring, it's beautiful. Consistency isn't lack of passion, it's the foundation of genuine love. And choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's the first step toward attracting the healthy relationships you deserve. If this video opened your eyes to the psychological mechanisms keeping you trapped, then you need to stay connected to this channel. Every week, we decode the hidden psychology that controls your life, from manipulation tactics to subconscious programming that keeps you stuck. Hit that subscribe button right now, because knowledge like this is your best defense against psychological predators. Smash the like button if this helped you understand your own patterns better, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video that could change your life. Remember, awareness is the first step to freedom, but only if you act on it. Subscribe now. Your future self will thank you.